In the vast reaches of the cosmos in the year 2392, humanity had finally breached the boundaries of Earth, their cradle, and ventured into the galactic stage. It was a time of wonder and apprehension as starfaring races who built a sprawling interstellar society, the Stellar Concord, turned their collective gaze upon the newcomers. From the bulbous, multi-limbed xylari to the ethereal energy beings known as the Lumerae, the Concord was a tapestry of diverse life forms. Humanity, the latecomers, were judged initially by their seemingly unimpressive technology and limited interstellar reach. Some dismissed them as a curiosity, a minor species that would inevitably be absorbed into the vast mechanisms of the Concord. However, there were those who looked beyond the surface, recognizing a spark within this young race. Captain Alexander Thorne, a seasoned commander of the starship Orion, embodied the spirit of humanity. Though the Orion paled in comparison to the behemoths of the conquered fleets, it bore the hallmarks of human ingenuity. Its compact, modular design emphasized agility and adaptability, traits shaped by centuries of human warfare. Thorne and his crew were the tip of the spear, ambassadors and explorers venturing into the unknown. One fateful day, the Orion was charting a remote sector near a cluster of loosely aligned star systems known as the Fringe. Their sensors detected a distress signal, a desperate plea for aid that crackled amidst the cosmic background noise. Thorne, ever the adventurer with a soft spot for the underdog, hesitated only a moment before setting course. The signal led them to a ravaged world, a planet bearing the wounds of a recent conflict. Orbital debris and the shattered husks of warships hung in space like grim trophies. Monitoring the planet, they detected a faint, persistent life sign, a beacon of defiance amidst the ruins. Intrigued, Thorne ordered a probe to be dispatched, its sensor arrays buzzing with activity as it scanned the scarred surface. The data stream painted a troubling picture. A heavily fortified city lay under siege, pounded relentlessly by orbital bombardment. Within its flickering shields, a cluster of civilian transports crouched like frightened prey, awaiting their inevitable doom. A surge of anger coursed through Thorne. Though new to the galactic community, the echoes of his own species' war-torn history resonated deeply. He couldn't sit idly by while innocents were slaughtered. But the Orion, a scout vessel, was ill-equipped for a direct confrontation. He needed a plan, a way to play to humanity's strengths. The answer lay in the Orion's greatest asset, its speed and agility. Thorne ordered the ship to drop low, skimming the upper atmosphere of the devastated planet, weaving through the gaps in the orbital defenses. It was a risky gamble, pushing the ship and its crew to the very limit. As the Orion pierced the veil of space and into a turbulent sky, the crew witnessed the brutal reality below. Fires raged, casting an infernal glow across the besieged city. From the heavens, beams of destructive energy rained down, each blast rattling the Orion's hull. This was no localized skirmish, but a calculated war of attrition. Thorne gritted his teeth. The civilian transports, crammed with desperate refugees, were the attackers' ultimate targets. He needed to buy them time, to create a distraction that would force the enemy to divert their attention from the helpless. In a flash of tactical brilliance, Thorne hatched a plan. He ordered the Orion to break away from the city, flying a reckless, evasive pattern across the desolate landscape. With each near miss, each blinding flare of orbital fire, the Orion projected an image of defiance, a lone thorn in the side of a vastly superior war machine. Thorne's gamble paid off. The enemy, caught off guard by the audacity of this lone, primitive ship, shifted focus. Hunter became prey as the attackers diverted their firepower towards the elusive Orion. It was a dance with death, the Orion twisting and dodging through a lethal storm of energy beams. Thorne knew they couldn't keep this up forever. Every hit chipped away at the Orion's shields, bringing it closer to destruction. Yet with every second, the civilian transports on the ground gained precious time. Minutes that could mean the difference between life and annihilation. The comm systems of the Orion crackled to life. Thorne's heart skipped a beat as a voice, tinged with desperation and awe, hailed his ship. It was the leader of the besieged city, a plea for assistance that echoed the indomitable spirit of his people. Thorne knew that despite their dire circumstances, hope now flickered in eyes that had witnessed only despair. This was the moment he had been waiting for. With a grim determination, Thorne opened a channel back to the Stellar Concord. He laid bare the situation, painting a vivid picture of the atrocities unfolding below. It was a gamble, an appeal to the supposed ideals of a galactic community that had remained impassive for too long. As time stretched on, Thorne and his crew pushed the Orion to its limits, each dodge a testament to human resilience. And then almost too suddenly, the orbital bombardment ceased. The attackers seemed to falter, their relentless assault wavering. A wave of confusion washed over the Orion's bridge. Had the Stellar Concord finally intervened, spurred into action by Thorne's impassioned plea? Or was this a cruel ploy, a pause before the final, devastating blow? The bombardment ceases, but uncertainty hangs heavy. From the edge of the system, a colossal ship emerges, its sleek contours like nothing Thorne has ever witnessed. It emanates power, yet its arrival brings a strange sense of tranquility. With unmatched precision, the unknown vessel takes position between the attackers and the besieged city, an unyielding shield against further aggression. Thorne and his crew are awestruck. The attackers, seemingly shaken by this unexpected turn of events, break formation and retreat. Confusion and relief surge through the Orion's crew, but a deeper question burns in Thorne's mind. Who are these enigmatic saviors? A signal slices through the comms, a series of intricate patterns and melodic pulses, utterly alien, yet strangely soothing. Thorne orders his communications officer to attempt a response, mimicking the pattern to the best of their ability. Moments later, an answer comes, a warmth flooding the patterns previously devoid of emotion. A connection is made, tenuous and fragile. A single craft detaches from the gargantuan ship, descending towards the Orion. Thorne orders his crew to prepare for first contact with a mix of anticipation and trepidation. As the alien craft docks and its airlock aligns, Thorne takes a deep breath. Humanity's first steps on the galactic stage were fraught with misunderstanding and near disaster. Could this be a chance to write a different beginning? The airlock hisses open, and instead of an imposing alien figure, a woman steps out. She's human, or at least remarkably similar in appearance. Her face bears a mix of stoic determination and thinly veiled surprise.
Captain Thorne?
She asks, her voice clear and accented with a vaguely familiar yet unplaceable lilt.
On behalf of the Khazari Alliance, thank you for your courage. However, we had things well in hand.
Thorne's brow furrows. The Khazari Alliance is a name whispered in galactic circles, rumored to be an enigmatic, highly advanced, and fiercely independent group of humans who broke away from Earth centuries ago. Legends paint them as protectors, operating in the shadows, upholding ideals larger than any single government or empire. The woman's presence shatters preconceived notions. Humanity is far more divided and complex than the Concord ever let on. She speaks of the Khazari not with pride, but with a hint of weariness, the weight of an unseen conflict etched upon her features. The woman extends a hand.
Commander Amara Lynn, time is precious. We must evacuate those civilians and discuss why the Zentraxi violated the treaty.
She trails off, her eyes scanning the Orion. A flicker of recognition and disapproval passes over her face. Thorne, his mind racing with questions, shakes Amara's hand firmly. The grip speaks volumes, a seasoned leader weary of war, yet unwavering in his commitment to protecting the innocent. He gestures to the refugees on the planet below, his gaze conveying the urgency of the situation. Amara nods curtly, her disapproval seemingly focused on the Orion itself. Her eyes linger on the ship's battered hull, the jury-rigged modifications, and a faint symbol barely visible on the bow, a stylized human silhouette holding aloft a broken chain. It's a symbol Thorne barely recognizes, a relic from a forgotten rebellion on Earth's distant past. A wave of unease washes over Thorne. Amara's disapproval transforms into a flicker of concern. She glances at the crew, their faces etched with exhaustion but resolute. Perhaps it's not the ship itself, but the spirit it embodies, the audacity of a single vessel defying the odds that troubles the Kasari commander. Without another word, Amara turns and strides towards the docking bay. Thorne follows, his curiosity piqued. As they board the Khazari vessel, a stark contrast hits him. The alien ship's interior is a marvel of technology, organic and flowing, yet undeniably human in its design principles. They reach the bridge, a breathtaking vista of swirling energy and holographic displays. Amara gestures to a vacant command chair.
Help yourselves to evacuate the refugees. We'll handle the Zentraxi.
Her tone is clipped, her gaze locked on the view screen where a holographic image of the Zentraxi fleet flickers. It's a clear dismissal, a subtle message. Humans, even the bold ones, are not yet ready to play on the galactic stage. Thorne, however, can't ignore the burning question in his gut. He taps a control panel, displaying the symbol on the Orion's hull. Amara whirls around, her eyes blazing with a mixture of anger and recognition. As Thorne displays the symbol, a wave of disquiet washes over the Khazari bridge. Amara's posture stiffens, her gaze hardening. A tense silence hangs in the air, broken only by the hum of alien technology. Through the panoramic view screen, Thorne sees the Khazari crew subtly shift, their expressions unreadable. He senses a history etched into their faces, a shared burden of secrets and sacrifices. A single Khazari officer steps forward, a datapad clutched in his hand. He speaks in rapid-fire Khazari, his voice laced with urgency. Amara listens intently, her brow furrowed in concentration. Finally, she turns back to Thorne, a flicker of emotion crossing her features. Regret, perhaps, or a dawning realization. She gestures to the datapad, and a holographic projection flickers to life, displaying a series of historical records. Images blur past: ancient Earth, a rebellion, exodus, a struggle for survival. Thorne watches, captivated as the story unfolds. He sees the exodus of a faction of humanity, fleeing a tyrannical Earth government. He witnesses their struggle to carve out a niche in a hostile galaxy, their constant vigilance against those who would exploit them. The symbol on the Orion, the broken chain, becomes a rallying cry, a testament to their fight for freedom. A new understanding dawns on Thorne. The Khazari are not simply a more advanced humanity, but the descendants of rebels. Their isolation is not aloofness, but a hard-earned survival strategy. Their disapproval of the Orion's actions stems not from arrogance, but from the fear of reckless idealism exposing their hidden haven. The holographic display flickers to a close. Amara meets Thorne's gaze, a silent plea for understanding in her eyes. The mission to evacuate the refugees has become more than just a humanitarian act, but a potential bridge between two branches of humanity, a chance to heal the wounds of a long-forgotten past. The weight of history hangs heavy on the bridge. Thorne studies the holographic display, each image a stark reminder of the sacrifices made by his ancestors, the Khazari. Shame washes over him. His actions, driven by a desire to help, may have inadvertently endangered the very people he sought to protect. He glances at Amara, her face etched with a complex mix of emotions, weariness, pride, and a flicker of something akin to hope. He understands now. The Khazari are not simply a reclusive faction, but a people forever scarred by the brutality of their past. Their isolation is not arrogance, but a shield, a desperate bid for survival in a galaxy teeming with threats. Thorne rises, his posture reflecting a newfound respect. He bows his head slightly, a silent apology for his ignorance and a gesture of newfound kinship. Amara's eyes widen in surprise, then soften with understanding. The bridge crew murmurs amongst themselves, their initial apprehension thawing into a cautious curiosity. Perhaps, the gesture suggests, this new breed of human, these descendants of Earth, might be different. There might be a chance for reconciliation, a bridge built not on forgotten glory, but on shared values and a common humanity. Through a view screen, a blinking light grabs their attention. An urgent message flashes from the evacuation zone. The Zentraxi fleet shows signs of regrouping. Time is running out. Amara throws off her contemplative mood, a steely resolve returning to her eyes. She barks out orders in Khazari, her voice ringing with authority. The bridge crew springs into action, their movements crisp and efficient. A new plan forms, a joint operation between the Orion and the Khazari vessel. It's a gamble, a chance to not only save the refugees, but to forge a new alliance, one built on mutual respect and the shared spirit of defying oppression. Amara issues swift commands, gesturing for Thorne to join her at the tactical console. Despite the language barrier, a strange synergy exists between them. With a few taps and gestures, Thorne transmits the Orion sensor data seamlessly into the Khazari system. The enemy fleet formations appear starkly against the holographic backdrop.
The Zentraxi favor brute force and direct assaults.
Amara explains, her voice clipped and focused.
The Orion's agility, it's definitely your advantage against them.
Thorne nods in understanding.
Yes, I agree. As long as you can provide us with a distraction, we can use what limited weaponry we have to strike their subsystems.
Death by 1,000 cuts, as the old Earth saying goes.
Amara says with a slight grin.
Exactly.
Thorne replies, returning her smile with one of his own. Thorne sees their plan unfold. The Khazari ship, a technological behemoth, will become the distraction. It will draw the Zentraxi battleships into a head-on confrontation, while the Orion, weaving through the chaos, launches a series of precision strikes on vulnerable subsystems. It's bold, risky, and quintessentially human. As the Khazari ship maneuvers into attack position, its powerful shields shimmer in defiance. The Zentraxi, alerted to the threat, wheel about, their lumbering warships pivoting with deceptive speed to face this new challenge. Thorne takes command of the Orion. He feels the familiar surge of adrenaline as the ship responds to his commands, engines roaring in response. His crew, seasoned in years of venturing into the unknown, brace themselves. The battle unfolds in a mesmerizing dance of light and destruction. The Khazari ship, a beacon of advanced technology, absorbs the brunt of the Zentraxi fire. Its shields flare and pulse, yet hold firm. Meanwhile, the Orion darts like a hummingbird among giants, exploiting the Orion's patchwork design for unorthodox maneuvers that baffle the enemy. Each pass brings a barrage of targeted strikes, disrupting shield generators, disabling weapons arrays, and leaving the lumbering Zentraxi ships reeling. The Orion takes a hit, a glancing blow that rattles the ship. Warnings blare, and smoke hisses from damaged conduits. Thorne grits his teeth. This isn't about survival, it's about making every second count. And they do. The Zentraxi formation unravels. Their vaunted battleships, crippled and confused, turn on each other. The Khazari, seizing the opportunity, press their advantage. Thorne, a grin spreading across his face, sends the Orion on a final daring run, delivering the crippling blow that shatters the Zentraxi command ship. In the aftermath, as the enemy fleet scatters, a tense silence falls over both bridges. Then, from the Khazari ship, a signal blinks. One symbol, a once-forgotten emblem of rebellion, humanity's broken chain. Thorne sends the mirroring signal back. It's a silent acknowledgement, a promise of a future built on cooperation and the shared spirit of those who dared to fight against insurmountable odds. In the stillness that follows the battle, the Orion limps back towards the ruined planet. Thorne, battered but unbroken, takes his place on the bridge, feeling the weight of the last few hours on both body and soul. They had saved lives, forged an alliance, but the scars of conflict ran deep. Amara, her own vessel bearing the marks of battle, steps onto the Orion's bridge. Her presence is no longer that of a distant leader, but an ally, a comrade. A shared respect hangs in the air, the unspoken language of those who have fought side by side. Thorne gestures towards the planet below. Civilian transports streak towards the safety of the Khazari ship, carrying the survivors of the siege. It is a bittersweet victory, bought with sacrifice.
We can't rebuild what was lost,
Thorne says, his voice a quiet rumble.
but maybe, just maybe, we can build something new.
Amara nods in agreement, her eyes fixed on the hopeful arc of the transports. The treaty the Zentraxi violated, it was a fragile peace. Perhaps it's time for a different kind of alliance, one stronger, more defiant. A ghost of a smile touches Thorne's lips. This is the true legacy of their bold actions. Not a simple rescue mission, but a potential turning point, a chance for fragmented humanity to reclaim its place in the galaxy. The Stellar Concord, those complacent observers of a seemingly minor galactic conflict, would soon have an awakening. The message is clear. Humanity may be divided, may have stumbled in the past, but it is far from broken. They are a force to be reckoned with, united by a fire that burns brighter than any alien sun.